Hey guys, it's Kat from Parkour YourCity. I'm so excited to show you what I've been doing. I'm interviewing these amazing people all around the world, and they're gonna tell you why you should start doing parkour. Unbelievable. So please watch my interviews. Kat from Parkour YourCity in Montreal. So I have another special guest from UK. Oh, tell me again your city. Yeah, Elgin. Yeah,
Elgin.
I forgot. From Elgin. Yeah, his name is Sam Gillespie, and he is gonna do the interview today with me. It's so nice to have you with us. So
it's lovely to be here.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so basically, maybe what's your age? So we have some like time frame.
I'm 22. I started training parkour when I was 11 years old, so I've been doing it for almost 11 years now. I set up my own business to teach parkour in my city about a year and a half ago, but unfortunately, due to COVID, that business has had to stop activities for the time being, but we're hoping once COVID calms down, everything will get set back up. But yeah, we've been running that business now.
Tell us what you do. Like you teach kids, you teach adults. What do you do exactly? And tell us the name's company.
The company's name is Elgin Parkour. At the moment, it consists of myself and 2 volunteer coaches because we're currently not able to make any sort of profit from this business. All of the money that we make from this business goes back into the business to reconstruct and make the business better. But at the moment, we were working in cooperation with a sporting company called Active Schools Scotland. They provide multiple different physical activities for kids in school, kids in nursery, those kind of age ranges for high school and below. So they approached us with the idea of possibly teaching parkour for high school age kids, and it eventually developed into younger classes as well. So we were running 2 classes on the same day for a period of time, and just before COVID hit, we had a plan to get 4 classes a week with the possibility of a 5th class opening a week, and then we would take it further and possibly get our own premises with our own equipment. But unfortunately, COVID hit and everything got stopped. So everything's just been a waiting game at the moment, hoping that COVID will calm down so we can get back on.
I'm sure it will. Don't worry. Everything's going to be fine,
Oh,
because
with
that's
any
the
luck.
Same thing for us, like all these lockdowns.
Everyone's facing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But basically, that's why I decided to do these interviews. I thought, well, maybe I can inspire people like around the world to start doing parkour by themselves, because obviously they can't take any classes, I guess.
And unfortunately,
but still, yeah. Like, I'm sure you have like a YouTube channel or like, so people can see.
I do have a YouTube channel that's been lacking in content, or should I say, doesn't have any content whatsoever.
Oops.
I have I've
you
not
can handle that.
uploaded, but I'm getting there. Unfortunately, I've only recently, just in my own personal circumstances, I've only recently managed to secure a position working. So I'm actually starting to look into funding for my own videography and getting cameras and stuff set up so I can actually start to make uploading a more scheduled thing. Because I do really want to share what it's like to train in such a small city, especially like Elgin's only about 3 miles at the maximum from point to point. So it's an hour's walk from one end of Elgin to the other. It's not a huge place. It's not got an awful lot to do. We found that Elgin is a lot better of a city for people who have a lot of experience in parkour, and the people who are just getting started, Elgin's not really got an awful lot, I'm afraid. So
but you can change that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
the huge goal. Was setting up Elgin Parkour was the whole goal of it was to eventually open it up so that anyone was able to train parkour. They had a safe place where they could come, they could actually practice and have the equipment to protect themselves from anything that could possibly happen. Most
You
recently,
have
one
like
of my
an
students.
indoor or outdoor
Yes,
place?
when we were functioning, we were working through one of the high schools here in Elgin, Elgin Academy. We were using their gymnasium and they were allowing us the use of some of their equipment. Um, but unfortunately, we actually recently just had a student attempt to do a cartwheel A-twist, and he went off at a certain direction and landed kind of superhero style, but on a brick wall. So
Oops.
he kind of put himself out of action for a little while, and it just raises the point even more that we need a safe place to train these things, because someone is going to get severely injured, and unfortunately there's just no one willing to take us on that point in this city. Unfortunately, there's cities around us that have a lot better of a community, but unfortunately the closest one's an hour and a half away by drive.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah.
it's not a huge place with a lot of benefits for parkour, which is what the whole point of setting up my company was for, was to hopefully change that for the next generation of free runners and traciers.
Wow, absolutely. How many people do parkour in your city? Do you know?
Well, the parkour class, we had 137 people who were coming along to the class. And in general, out and around training, I think there's anywhere from 6 to 30 people who actually go out and train parkour properly in Elgin. Um, but the numbers have been dwindling, primarily due to the fact there isn't a safe place for people to practice, and secondarily because it's Scotland and the weather always hates parkour. So
Oops.
it's just the unfortunate detail of living in Scotland.
Yeah. Some people, they still train under the rain, but
Oh,
that's kind of
yeah, for
like,
sure.
it's tricky a
Uh,
little bit, huh?
oh yeah, definitely. Especially when Elgin is primarily made out of sandstone, so when it gets wet, it gets extremely slippy. It's all
Eh.
very mossy walls, very old walls. So
Mm.
the other thing we're having to do an awful lot in Elgin is check your surfaces, because you never know which wall you're going to jump to that's going to come with you when you land on
Yeah.
it.
But parkour is about like safety first,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
for
I'm
sure.
sure you know, like maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that, because people think, oh, like we climb like roofs and walls and we jump like very high, but this
Yes.
is not necessarily parkour like when you start, and
Oh
you
no,
don't
not
even
at
have
all.
to go there. Yeah. Tell
Exactly.
us more about that.
For people who have never even been on top of a roof, there's people who train parkour having never touched a roof. There's people who train parkour who don't ever go anywhere near public areas. They just simply use a couple of bars that are in their back garden or just round the corner from their house on a piece of grass that someone maybe left there. But when it comes down to parkour, there is absolutely no need for the huge heights and the all defying death drops that you see everyone do. They are awesome, they are incredible to see, but at the exact same time, they are not necessary. You can still do a 14-foot gap if you're 2 foot off the ground. It makes no difference if it's 2 foot off the ground or if it's 30 feet off the ground. That 14 foot is always going to be the same. The height just makes it that little more. Is he gonna make it? I don't know.
But it's the same length. Yeah,
But it's
exactly.
exactly the same
Same
landing. It's
distance.
just but no, with parkour, everyone does believe that it is, oh, they're dangerous, they're jumping, they're like in Elgin, for example. When I first started, there was not very many people here that trained. I think I was the first person of about 5 that actually started training in Elgin when I first started. And when we first started, we got met with a lot of public opinion of, "You're vandals, get off my wall, what are you doing on there? This is a public park, why are you coming here to do that in a public park?" Um, and it was always funny to us, because whenever we went to like any like general spot with grass or walls that we'd like to train at, we always got chased away from there. And the reason we were always given was because it wasn't a play park. But yet when we went to a play park, they'd have a go at us because we weren't the kids using the play park.
Oh my God.
So we were like, right, so where would we go? What do we do? And that is still a question we ask now, 10 years later. We are constantly being chased away from certain locations, and it's like, well, where do you want us to go? Because everywhere we go, we get chased away.
Yeah, you don't have like a outdoor, like a kind of
No,
like parkour gym,
no,
right? It's
unfortunately
very
not.
popular it's very popular in Europe, like in France, like
Oh yeah,
because that's where
definitely.
it started. Yeah.
Well,
We don't have
the
either in Canada. I mean, in Montreal, we have nothing, and that's one thing
Jeez.
we would like to change. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, and the closest gym currently to myself is actually about a 4 hour drive away. Um,
Oh.
because I'm in the very northeast of Scotland. The closest gym to us is down south in Glasgow. So I'm quite a distance away and not exactly able to afford to just travel down on the train every so often. Especially with having just recently gotten a job, and well, life sometimes
Yeah.
gets your money away from you, so it's
Yeah.
not always possible to travel.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. 4 hours. Oh my God. All right. So, how did you find about parkour?
Well, it's actually a completely boring story. I'm afraid there's nothing exciting about this story.
Let's
So
skip
I
it.
was,
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
ah, oh,
No, no,
well,
I want to
nobody will
hear
hear that
it.
story.
I want to hear it. It's
So,
not boring. It's your story, you know?
when I was in high school, I unfortunately was not a very liked person, so I spent quite a lot of my time alone. But at the time, I was second year in high school. I would have been about just 11, going on 12 sort of age. And one of my friends appeared at the door and asked if I wanted to come out and just go out and do something. I was 11 years old, didn't really think much of it. But when we got out, we went to just about a hip high fence, not a very tall fence, about 3 foot tall. And he started to teach me how to handspring off of that fence.
Oh,
And
wow.
someone then spotted us doing these flips off this fence, and he came over to us and was like, "Hey guys, do you guys go to the parkour class?" And me and my friend looked at each other and kind of, what's parkour? And they were like,
Blank.
do you guys happen to play Xbox at all? Yeah. Do you play Assassin's Creed? Oh boy, there goes my phone.
Oh, that's fine.
But yeah, they were. He said, "Do you guys happen to like Xbox?" We were like, "Yes." "Do you happen to play Assassin's Creed?" "Yes." "Do you want to be able to do what they do in Assassin's Creed?" "Yeah." "Okay, so you go here at this time, and it's this much." Awesome.
Oh my God.
Never stopped. From
I
that
love
point
it.
onwards, I continued going. And I've been
Wow.
hooked ever since.
But I mean, it's a good story because it's like it just came out of nowhere. It's like you
Oh, yeah.
attracted parkour to yourself or something, you know?
Well, that's
Wow.
definitely a good way of thinking about it, actually. I've never
Yeah.
thought about it like that. Parkour just had a
Yeah.
calling for me.
Yeah. It
Oh,
came to you.
yeah.
It needed you. Wow, that's so cool. And what do you like about parkour?
There's quite a lot that I love about parkour. I mean, the community for one thing. The community of parkour is absolutely amazing. There's not a single person I've met in the community that hasn't got an amazing experience to share or relative information that can help you with a trick that you've maybe been struggling with for years, and someone says, "Oh, well, have you tried this?" And suddenly that's the
Yeah.
one tip in so long that you got it. It nailed it. Training with different people is always amazing. It can give you such a different perspective. But another thing that's great about parkour is all the physical and mental benefits. Um, as I stated, I wasn't a very liked person in school, and after I started parkour, granted that didn't change very much. I was still not a very liked person in school, but I
But
did
you
gain
are
a lot.
good.
I did gain a lot more confidence, and I gained a lot of respect for a lot of things around me, including people, as well as improving my balance, my physical conditioning, my mental condition, my hand-eye coordination. Again, there are so many benefits to parkour that it just it all wraps into a nice package that helps you physically, mentally, and it really just brings you out of any dark space that you're in that moment. I don't know if it's the same for other people, but for myself, when I'm training, I feel like I have all the time in the world to just think and sort out everything in my head. Where everybody views a front flip as, oh, he just did a front flip. It's, for me, it's like I'm doing this. I feel like everything's moving in slow motion, so I have more time to think. It's a weird
Wow.
concept, but a lot of people seem to understand what I mean through like adrenaline when you go to fall or you see something coming at you and suddenly everything goes in slow motion for you and you think, well, this is gonna hurt when I hit that. This is gonna hurt when I hit that.
Wow, that's such a nice picture, you know? It's like in the video game then. It's like it's in slow
It's
motion, you
yeah,
know?
it's a weird thing. It's I believe it's something to do with my adrenaline when I'm doing the flip. After explaining it to a few people with a medical background, they've said it's definitely an adrenaline based
Oh,
chemical reaction that's causing my view to slow down in my eyes, but that's because I'm in control of what I'm doing at the time, kind of thing.
exactly. So you're
Whereas if it was
controlling
someone
time.
chucking me into the air, I'd suddenly go, and everything would go quickly, and I'd have no time to react.
So interesting.
Uh,
Wow, it's like you're controlling time.
for myself, anyway, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, for yourself. Wow, that's so interesting. And why should people do parkour? Like why a person should start doing parkour?
Wow. Well, as I already stated, there's so many benefits to parkour: the mental health, your physical health. The community is absolutely fantastic because, again, another benefit for it is meeting people that are,
Mm,
you know, maybe in the same kind of lifestyle and same sort of mindset as yourself. Um, for me, I met so many people who I never thought anyone was quite like myself back in high school. Like, never knew that people would want to hang out with someone that was like me, that didn't exactly have an interest in what every other guy had an interest in. Everybody else was playing football. I was sitting
mm,
doing parkour, and a lot of people just didn't like the fact I tried to do my own thing. But then you meet people in the parkour community who have had the exact same experiences as
mm.
you. You've done your parkour in high school. They started in high school and they went through the exact same thing with a bunch of people constantly picking on them because they didn't play football.
Mm.
Um, but it's again, it's one of the things that I believe people should really look into parkour for is the community, because the community are some of the best and amazing people on the planet. They just know how it feels to not be able to progress and move forward from a stage, whether it's a trick, a vault, or
Mm.
just a precision jump. They all know how it feels to be standing staring at that thing and going, I just can't do this. So they all have a great sense of love and respect for the people that do what they do.
Thanks so much. It's so
Uh,
interesting, you know? Wow. Yeah. Is there anything like from your experience or what you've learned so far from like 11 years, you know, like that you would like to share with like the parkour community or just people who would like to start doing parkour?
I would can definitely say for the people who are already doing parkour, the one thing I definitely share is don't ever have, when it comes to people reacting to you negatively or positively for that matter, the best thing I can recommend is don't treat people as a reflection of how they treat you. Treat them as a reflection of you. Treat them as a reflection of what you want to put out in the world, purely because if you get these nice people who are treating you positively and you treat them positively back, you're just spreading positivity. If someone is trying to be negative towards you and you're spreading positivity, well, A, you're annoying the person who's trying to be negative to you, because nothing annoys a negative person more than positivity. That's something I've found, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Secondly, at the end of the day, if someone's going to try and be negative to you and you've shown nothing but positivity, that says more about them than it does about you. And as for the people who are new and really want to get into parkour, the best thing in my experience is go for it. There is nothing that can stop you from doing what you want to achieve. So if you really want to give parkour a try, yes, you have to take into consideration it's a dangerous sport, and yes, there are possibilities of injuries and stuff, as I've stated, but at the end of the day, again, you're not going to meet a group of more amazing people in the world, or that, at least that's in my opinion, you're not going to meet a more amazing group of people, because people in the parkour community, from what I've found, just have the most amazing attitude towards others as well as things in the community.
It's so true. And it's so interesting that that's the case, you know?
Oh
But at
yeah,
the same
like
time, it makes sense because like you guys, you're so close to like to yourself, to your it's like your self-respect. You gain your self-respect back because you're able to
yeah,
do things maybe you were not thinking you would be able to do. And at the same time, I don't know, for me, I found parkour is so natural. Like
oh
you're
yeah,
supposed to be able to do parkour because it's just you go like over an obstacle. So when you're young, you go in the playground and you do your stuff, you know? It's like
yeah,
natural.
exactly.
You know, like quadrupedi, like how you say in English? Quadrupedi? You say that? Like the quadruple,
Quadruple.
like quadruple. Like quadruple is like it's baby stuff. And then you
Oh
ask
yeah,
an adult to do
quadrupedal.
it, and yeah, exactly. And then you ask an adult to do that, and he's like, "Oh, I can't," or like, "I'm too fat," or "I'm too heavy," or "I don't have force in my shoulders or arms."
I always
Like,
get a lot of people saying that, and the I'm too fat is always the biggest excuse I ever hear. And the first thing I do is go onto YouTube, because there is a video on YouTube. If you look up fat parkour, it is the best video ever. I don't know
oh,
how big the man is, but he is a relatively bigger built person who can flip better than most skinny trickers I've seen nowadays. He has some unbelievable control in his flips, in his parkour, the way he's able to move. He puts a lot of the skinny guys I know who train to shame, and it's incredible to see.
wow,
Like,
wow.
there
But
are
that
some flips
then that
that he
makes
does.
wow. I'm gonna look at that, and that makes sense because parkour, I think it's for everybody. Like
Oh yeah,
everybody, like
definitely.
70, 80 people, 80 years old people could do parkour, and like kids and like anybody, right?
When I was at the parkour class that I went to when I was about, oh God, I would have been about 12, 13 when this happened. There was a 76-year-old man who came to that parkour class, and he is the only person in my lifetime I have ever seen do a one-handed handstand push-up. 76-year-old man, and he put every single one of us to shame by going up into a one-handed handstand and then just popping out push-ups like it was nothing. And all of us
Oh
just
my
sat there like,
God.
if I can be like that at 76, I'll be proud with myself.
Wow. Oh my God, that's crazy. But yeah,
uh,
that's the proof. Anybody can do parkour.
anyone, absolutely anyone.
Amazing. What is your biggest accomplishment, Sam, in parkour?
Oh, my biggest accomplishment so far would definitely have to be so most recently, the most recent trick I've ever done that has taken me, it was a personal challenge I set myself back in 2012. So it was an 8-year challenge that I completed in about August sort of time. Managed to do a round off double backflip on flat ground for the first time ever. And it was the biggest challenge. I've even got a compilation up on my Instagram just of a few of the attempts over the years. Um, so it was about 2012, the first time I'd ever seen anyone do it on a sprung floor. And I said to my coach, I'm going to be able to do that on grass one day. And at the time, obviously,
Wow.
I was a 12-year-old that everybody could, aha, yeah, whatever, haha, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, dream big, keep going, don't worry about it. But they never believed me that one day it was going to happen.
Wow. Well, that was a big accomplishment. It took
Oh,
you 8 years.
yeah. It took me eight
Wow.
years of constantly different days, different weeks, constantly feeling it out and testing it every single takeoff, gaining the tiniest piece of information that could possibly tell me, can you? Can't you? And
Wow.
eventually there was just one day I was out with my friends and I just decided, you know what, this is the day. This is the day I have to get this done. And I gave it a try and I went for it. And don't get me wrong, I've had fails with it as well, and they're not fun, but um, It's all about perseverance. It's just keep on trying. Don't let anything slow you down and stop you, because the minute you do is the minute that when you look back on it, you're going to be beating yourself up for not keeping going.
Thank you so much. That is so inspiring. That's exactly how people should think about anything, not just parkour, you know,
Yeah,
like anything
everything
they
in
want to
life.
achieve.
Exactly. If you have a goal, the only person that can stop you is you.
You. Wow, thank you so much. What is your biggest dream in parkour? Like, what now that you've accomplished that double
Well,
flip, you know, like, is there something else you would like? Anything?
at the moment, I do not have any targeted goals, but with parkour, my view is constantly just to push my limits. If I can do something, if I can do something today that I didn't do yesterday, I've pushed my boundaries that little bit further, and I'm able to progress that little bit faster. But with parkour in general, I really hope that one day, for parkour, not necessarily just for myself, but for everyone, I truly do hope that one day parkour becomes globally accessible to everyone. Because as I said, the closest gym to my area is 4 hours away. There's people here that have seen parkour, they've seen David Bell, they've seen Sebastian Foucan, they've seen Damian Walters, they've seen all these amazing people doing all these tricks, doing kongs, doing vaults, and doing massive gaps across buildings. And then they look around, they think, where can I learn that? Oh, nowhere. I live in the middle of nowhere. um, but I really do truly hope that one day there is a gym in every single city that anyone can go to train, because it is something that I truly believe can help a lot of people. It is something I believe everyone should try at least once. Again, it's not the sport for everyone on the planet, but I truly believe that everyone can take something and learn something from the sport. I truly do.
Absolutely. And I totally agree with you. Oh my God, that would be lovely. Okay. Is there anything else you're trying to achieve this lifetime? Maybe not in parkour, you know, just you as a person, or
For myself as a person, about the only thing I'm trying to achieve is moving somewhere with better weather so I can train more often. um,
yeah, that makes sense.
like again, living up here is it's an amazing place to live, but I think it would be an amazing place to settle down, sort of thing. But in terms of progressing you as a person and as developing your own skills, I don't think that Elgin is really the best place to be, just purely because there's not enough around here that can offer you the progression and the potential for more. Everything around here, as I said, is big challenges, and there's not really anything that can progress you to those challenges. But traveling is always going to be one of my big goals, just so I can get around the place and see multiple different areas. I'd love to go to as many amazing places as I can and train with as many as amazing people as I can meet, because I know there's still thousands of them that out there that I've still yet to meet and hear from them and hear their points of view. And it is one of the things that drive me, is meeting new people and seeing how they can take the sport that I love and what they do with it, what they can do with their love for the sport instead of what I see. It's always an amazing thing to see other people's points of view and points of perspective, especially around the sport.
Wow. Sam, I wish you all the best. You deserve it. I'm
Thank
sure
you
you're
very
gonna
much. And
achieve great things. Yeah.
oh, I'm hoping. I am
Oh
pushing every day
yeah.
to hopefully achieve more and more.
I'm sure you will. Thank you so much for that interview. Please tell
Not a
us
problem at
again,
all.
if you know, like if you have Instagram or YouTube, how people
Yes.
can go and check what you're doing, even with
Uh,
your school.
so on my Instagram, it's Sam Gillespie PK. Be a interesting one if anybody can spell Gillespie properly. That's going to be fun for you.
I'll tell them.
I'll give you guys a hint. There's not a B in there; it's a P. And on my Facebook for the parkour class, it is Elgin Parkour on Facebook. There's unfortunately not an awful lot up there, but that's primarily due to COVID. We're hoping once that settles down, we will have a lot more and the page will start to become active again. but unfortunately that page has been a bit dormant for about a year now, which we're hoping to change as COVID starts to calm down, but it's all a waiting game at the moment, but we're patient, we can wait.
Thank you so much, Sam. You're an amazing person.
Thank you very much, as are you.
Yeah, thank you. And I hope maybe I visit you in Elgin once.
Oh, that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I can take you around some of the challenges we have here.
Yeah, I would love to. Thanks again.
Excellent.
And have a good day.
You too. Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye. Did you like my interview? Well, there are 2 more right here.